Here's a game. Nikolai 69. Let's start off with e4. e4, e5. We could play an Italian game. I don't think I've played one of those in a while. Goes for the Juco piano. Oh, that's interesting. The normal move there is knight to f6, hitting the pawn. So I don't have to decide what to do with the pawn right away. I can just castle. I mean, the choice is between playing d3 and defending the pawn, and d4 and playing for some gambit lines or more interesting stuff. But anyway, not as sound. Okay, so now he attacks it with the knight. Got it defended. So if I play d4 here, and he takes, I take, and then the bishop retreats. Then I have one move to defend my pawn, right? I think that is the case. The point is, after the exchange, well, even if he takes the pawn, there's going to be kind of an awkward pin there on the d file, isn't there? But because he has to deal with this threat to his bishop, it gives me time to play knight c3 and defend the d pawn in any case. So he goes there. So knight c3, and he takes, and I attack it with the bishop, pushes the pawn forward to defend it. I take, pawn takes, and rook takes, hitting the queen. So I think that works out okay for me. We'll see. He could just take the knight immediately, huh? Bishop takes, pawn takes, then knight here. He doesn't go for that. Okay, another pin. So what to do here? It'd be kind of nice to open up the e file here while his queen and king are on there. If I push the e pawn forward, and he takes, I guess I have a little trouble taking back with the knight because of the pin here. If he pushes, I can take. Yeah, I'm not sure. I could counterpin his knight. He's sort of threatening this pawn. Sort of threatening the d pawn. Like take here and queen takes, then he can take the d pawn. Let's develop a piece and pin his knight and see how he responds to that. Oh, just okay, so let's take that knight off, get rid of those threats to the d pawn. And now I can push this forward, hitting his queen. Pawn takes hits the queen again. And when the queen moves, I can take this pawn with check. Surely this is good for me. I guess he can take my knight. I take his queen. He takes my queen. I take his bishop. Funny game. Let's see, there's also queen b3 here, ganging up on f2, but that f2 is covered, f7 is covered, and his bishop is defended. So he just takes there. I thought I could take here with check. But I guess I take there, he can actually take with the queen. So rook takes knight, queen takes. Knight takes queen, bishop takes queen. Rook takes bishop. That's 2 pieces for the rook, isn't it? Let's count. I take his knight. No, I take his knight with my rook. He takes my rook. I take his queen. So I've got a queen and a knight, and I've given up a rook. He takes my queen, I take his bishop. And I'll have a rook here, bishop and knight. I think that's 2 pieces for a rook. If I calculated correctly. So yeah, I have 1 rook and 3 pieces, and he has 2 rooks and 1 piece. So, and he also got a pawn. So technically it's about even, but usually the minor pieces are better than the rook. Let's see, so I can immediately gang up. I have to be careful about the back rank. I want to just play rook to the 7th rank and threaten the f7 pawn, but he can play rook to e8, hitting my knight and threatening to mate me on the back rank. Pretty annoying. So we will first just go here. And see how he plays. I should still be better, just materially. So he attacks with the bishop, attacks my knight. So if I take, rook takes, bishop takes, I don't have a good follow-up. So I need to, let's see, if I defend the knight, and he takes, I get a pawn here, and an open file for my rook. I guess it's better to keep the knight on. So how am I going to maneuver the knight? Knight here to here, or here to here, to there. It'd be nice to get back to that place where I'm putting pressure on, or to this square where I put pressure on the bishop. So here, here, I guess then. The knight can go to d2 and e4 is what I'm thinking. Or the other knight could come to e4. So let's get my king off the back rank. And let's see. I don't mind a trade of rooks so much. But it'd be nice to get rid of his bishop. So let's try that. Hits the pawn, hits the bishop. If he tries any tempo moves, yeah. So he saves the bishop. I mean, he saves the pawn and gives up the bishop. So bishop and knight versus a rook, and let's gang up on that pawn. Let's see, I guess we can start by blockading it. And then we can bring this knight in to gang up on it. So I'm thinking knight to yeah, I guess if he plays rook to e5, I still have knight d6. So it's a little risky putting your pieces in a position like that where they can get forked. If he defends with the other rook, I have knight to e7 check, so he has to bring the c rook back. Oh, yeah. He has to play rook c to d8, I think. Then I have bishop b7. Maybe I had bishop b7 anyway instead of knight f4. Okay, so he went there. Let's go for this. A little dicey once again. He can attack my rook with the rook to d8, but I have bishop f7 check. So it's sort of barely holding together here. We'll see if I survive this. It's kind of an unfortunate pin there. But I can drop the bishop back and defend my rook. So bishop to b3, defending the rook, so my knight is free to move if I don't have anything better. And I don't see anything better. So now I'm a pawn up, plus bishop and knight versus rook. So that's, I guess that was an example of the superiority of the bishop and rook versus knight. Okay, so this is defended. Let's see, I can force some exchanges, can't I? Knight here hits the rook. He's attacking my pawn on b2, of course. Yeah, I do want to unwind that somehow. But I'm a little annoyed by this idea that he takes on b2, and if I move my knight, he can exchange and pull my bishop away. Let's think about the order here. Say knight here. He takes, I take, he takes. Oh, my bishop can go right back. So it's just a question of where I want my knight to be, I guess, or where it can go safely. Maybe here. Try and keep it active against the pawns on the queen side. There. So we get to this position. And, yep. So we got his pawn back. So it's 4-4, but it's bishop and knight versus rook. So let's see if I can win this endgame here. Yeah, there's maybe an idea of trapping the rook. I guess the rook can always go to b. I guess the rook can always go to the first rank. Yeah, I get a pawn there. Let's take that. I think that's better than harassing the rook. And I can still come back here and harass his rook. But now my bishop is secure, which is nice. And I can just concentrate on moving my pawns forward. Had to move a little more quickly there. I was running low on time. Oh, let's see. So I guess he's spotted the idea that I can't. Okay, he resigned. Yeah, I have too many pawns. Okay, well, interesting game. And I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.